Now, you know this is true when I say this, so don't get all butthurt or emotional or me like cancel love or anything like that. Because you know it's true. A lot of us Chicago fans are morons. Complete, unadulterated, unquestionable morons. And why do I say that? Because when you had the Bulls game and the Bears game both going on Monday night, you know damn good and well the majority of us were watching the Bears game. Or even if we were trying to pretend like we're really good at multitasking, which is complete bullshit. Humans are not great at multitasking. That's a myth. It's dumb. We are great at being distracted. That's a key difference. We're great at being distracted and pretending like we're doing multiple things effectively when we don't. A lot of us were trying to sit there and eye hustle off of both, but probably had our eyes gravitate towards one. And that was probably the Bears game. And we did that because we're morons. The Bears playing in prime time. Sure, you'll give the Justin Fields reason. That's a valid reason. And he certainly played well on Monday night. Even though the Bears ultimately do what the Bears do, and that's play Bears football at key times. Justin Fields played very, very well. And that is encouraging. And that's all that matters. Win or lose does not. Justin Fields developing does matter. But instead of watching a legit good Bulls team against a legit opponent like the Brooklyn Nets, a lot of us were paying much more attention to the Monday night football game because we are morons. Oh, yes, you are. You know how it was going to go, and you still watched. I'm a moron, too. If I can acknowledge it, so can you. So a lot of us were either trying to pay half-ass attention to the Bulls game while the Bears game was going on, or had to go back and watch or re-watch the Bulls game. I tried to do the distracted thing and then yet still found myself Tuesday morning having to come back and re-watch the Bulls game, and I'm certainly glad I did, obviously. Whereas, sure, the Bears lost, but who gives a crap? Justin Fields looked good. That's what matters. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bulls, they can beat some good teams, and they beat a good team on Monday night. Even if not at 100% full strength, let's be realistic here. You have two top-flight talents in the game in Kevin Durant and James Harden. They're not exactly hurting here. And the Bulls went in and handled business. They took care of that business. Especially in the fourth quarter, they bitch-slapped them. Yeah, it's exciting stuff. But watching this game, like in the first half, even though the Nets were up 57-53 at the half, you had to generally feel good about the Bulls' performance. Like they were making the Nets work a little bit for some of their shots. The Bulls were getting some of their offense off. Wasn't a great performance on either side of the floor in that first half, but it was enough. And then even as you watched the third quarter, like the Bulls were able to come back and tie this up. So, you know, you're going into the fourth quarter tied at 78 against a team that a lot of people had picked to be major players in the Eastern Conference, potentially represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals. And you're tied after 3, which is an encouraging result already when you think about the past couple of games against the Philadelphia 76ers. Yes, the Bulls were able to pull it close, da-da-da-da-da. And I'll say that this Bulls team is doing a good job so far early in the season of nobody's running too far away from them where they can't find a way to claw back. Sometimes they're allowing too big of a lead to get out there, but they're clawing it back. There are no blowouts here so far. So when they were tied at 78 after 3, I did feel good about it. And I actually felt really good about their chances. And boy, was I validated in that fourth quarter, huh? Holy shit. I mean, they teabagged the Nets. They raw-dogged them in the booty hole. 42-17 was the differential in that fourth. Like, they looked like two entirely different teams. The Nets looked overwhelmed, overmatched, struggled to get off their offense. They couldn't defend the Bulls. Meanwhile, the Bulls' energy level, their intensity, their effort, their hustle was just leaps and bounds better than the Nets. And it felt like the Bulls couldn't miss, or even when they did, they were so much more aggressive. They were getting to the free throw line, and the Nets seemed like they just couldn't do anything right. And a lot of that, I think, is credited to not just the Bulls' defense, but it was their energy, their effort, their hustle, their desire to win this game, and it absolutely showed in that fourth quarter. Like, to see the Bulls come out of this winning by the margin that they did was impressive shit. To outscore the Nets by 20-something damn points in the fourth quarter was phenomenal. It absolutely was. And a big reason for that advantage, or that win, Was the advantage in terms of points in the paint? The Bulls outscored the Nets 54-26 in the paint, which was a reflection of the aggressiveness of this team to get to the line, to get to the paint, to dribble, drive, and penetrate, and create opportunities for others, take it to the basket. You certainly saw DeMar DeRozan do that plenty in the game. Saw some of that from Zach LaVine and AYO and Caruso and so forth. Lonzo as well. Like, they did a great job, especially in that fourth quarter, especially, of being aggressive and keep attacking, and they had the Nets backpedaling all at the end of that game. So certainly pleasantly surprised with how that fourth quarter went, because it was something to behold. I mean, it was, you go from this game is really close and is going to be a nail biter to you're coasting at the end and you're up 20-something damn points. Like, where the hell did that come from? And that's all with Kevin Durant putting up 38. And let's not just talk about the Slim Reaper and how great his performance was in this game, because he absolutely was. But LaMarcus Aldridge was putting in some work on these dudes. Like, yeah, you could say he only had 19 points, but there were some big 19 points. Like, he came in, LaMarcus Aldridge was a factor. He was a difference maker for this Nets team. They needed him to be, because James Harden played like shit. He was only 4 for 11 from the field with his 14 overrated-ass points. Sitting there making a big deal about, oh my God, I got a continuation. Oh my God, everybody hates the way you fucking play the game of basketball, you piece of crap. I'm glad he's not getting the whistles anymore. This style of play was killing the style of play of the league. Like, who the fuck wants to watch a guy flipping and flopping around and always trying to draw contact? And this is different, like, as opposed to a Reggie Miller back in the day used to do that. Like, the whole dynamics here are different. Like, that was his game. Like, that's how he got under people's skin. Harden's not doing that. He's trying to be a marquee guy and just take the lazy bitch-ass way out. Sorry, not sorry for saying that. Meanwhile, for the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan, he's their MVP right now, my opinion, and should be a candidate for MVP across the league. Not saying he's the one or even in the top 3, but certainly in the top 10, the way I see it right now. Led the Bulls with 28 points. Zach LaVine had a solid night, 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Everybody on Twitter was certainly geeking out about AYO DeSumo and his performance here, and they should be. Like, even when you had the moments like on the one fast break where Stacey King's like, slow down, and he didn't slow down, like rookie stuff, he's going to have to learn. But it's that frenetic energy, that tempo, that pace, that desire, that hustle that he plays with. Like, it's almost like the Bulls got this unexpected gift of a guy that they maybe weren't expecting to contribute a whole lot. Maybe they were this year. But I'm not sure with the signing of Caruso and thinking that Kobe White was going to be there. Like, they were thinking maybe more AYO is a year 2, year 3 contributor. But right now, like, he's changing conversations about this rotation going forward. And he absolutely needs to be included in the rotation, because you could see the impact of AYO in that damn fourth quarter. 15 big points and 7 key rebounds. And just, again, loads of energy and everything off of the bench. It was a lot of fun to watch this game, wasn't it? It's fun to see a good team like this Bulls team right now. Now, they're not perfect. Vucevic, you could say in the fourth quarter he had a couple nice buckets, but he played like shit again. He's still missing. I know you're going to, like the commentators are trying to point out, like, he's rebounding, he's setting screens, he's facilitating the offense a little bit. Yeah, he's doing all that, but that's not what you're paying him to do first and foremost. You need him to be able to score some. And right now, he's just not being very efficient, and that's a problem. But still a lot of season to go. Hopefully he can figure it out. But this Bulls team right now, this was a nice win. They won this bitch convincingly going away with it. That was unexpected. And now we'll see what they do come Wednesday night against the Mavericks. But right now, I'm going to celebrate this win. Justin Fields played well on Monday night. Who gives a shit if the Bears won or lost? The Bulls kicking the shit out of the Nets and winning by over 20. Oh, yeah. It was a good night to be a Bears fan and Bulls fan, ultimately.